Hey, folks, we are here. It is Thursday. I guess it's the 16th of September today. I look in my calendar, it's 17th. Today is the 17th day of September 2020. Remember, we're in the roaring 20s. And if you think of 100 years ago in the roaring 20s of the last century, what was going on? We had gangsters and gang shootings and Tommy guns and all kinds of stuff and prohibition and alcohol and all of that stuff going on. That was 100 years ago. Hey, folks, pay attention. What's going on today? It is a new roaring 20s. So we're in the same thing, only now it's AR-15s, it's Antifa, it's protests in the street, and marijuana. Oh, that's the new one, the marijuana. And it is amazing, folks. It's good to be here. Great to see you out there. I love you all with all my heart. And I hope that what I say and what I'm sharing with you will have an impact on your future in a very, very positive way. Every day we start our day and our presentation with prayers for COVID-19 people that have been affected in some way, for the loved ones that have been lost, and the people who have lost loved ones. Our heartfelt goes out. I had a couple of clients this year that have passed away, and they had lots of medical issues, but the coroner was even important to put on their COVID. Whether it was COVID or not, it was on the death certificate, along with numerous other contributing factors. So I don't know. I don't know what's true, what's not, but our prayers go out to everybody. Lost your job, lost a loved one, things aren't the same anymore. I think the future is going to be very, very different, ongoing. Kind of hard to predict what's going to go on. All the more reason for the importance of the CFO project. Okay, the CFO at home, Chief Financial Officer of your household. That is really what this is all about, folks. We've talked this week about each of the 4 rules of the blueprint. Save 20% or more of our income, accumulate 50% of your household income in accessible capital, no consumer debt. And 4 is today. Today is Thursday. It is the 4th day this week. And I really want to focus on mastery today. I want to talk about what does it mean to be a master CFO at home. That's the important subject today, because it is so important to get this in your mind, to think correctly so that you see things differently and learn how to measure correctly. Those 3 ingredients, excluding the other 9 prosperity principles, there are 12. There are 7 basic and 5 advanced. I'm going to touch on them today as we talk. I'm going to talk about prosperity economics, an overview between typical thinking and prosperity economics thinking, and sort of put that in perspective. Remember, perspective is how we see things. Our perception is how we interpret what we see. And that is so important. And I have the ability to change my perception based on the things I read, the people I meet, and the places I go. Those are the 3 primary ways to change things, to change the way you think, and so forth. So, as we get into this today, and we talk about rules, everybody has rules and everybody has principles. Remember, principles are pretty solid. They sort of never change. No matter whether you're sitting on that side of the desk as the banker or this side of the desk as the consumer. We all have rules and principles that we have to work at. We have to learn, we have to master these rules. And each segment of the marketplace works very, very hard every day through marketing and advertising and news media and news briefings and all of those things that are going on, their purpose, their only purpose is to change the way you think. That's all. What does advertising do? Advertising gets you to think differently. That leads to buying the product that they're marketing and want you to buy. So it's all about brainwashing. So you sort of have to walk around with a helmet on that has filters to protect you. You have to learn how and make a decision that you're going to filter information that comes at you without verification. Now, the verification comes in principle number 3, which is measure, okay? 4 is cash flow, 5 is control. So when I look at those principles, that's really what we're talking about. And then 6 is movement of money, and 7 is multiplication. So when we think of those 7 principles, how do they apply? Because the marketing and advertising, if you hear something often enough in a short period of time, you start to believe it. A lie repeated often enough is easily believed. The truth, however, it takes work to accept the truth, to validate and create a validity to what's going on and what you're talking about in everything. So if you're on the other side of the desk, your goal as the manager, the board of directors of the banking institution or Wall Street or whatever the firm is, your goal is to what? Make money. You have stockholders that you have to report to. There's an annual meeting, and there needs to be growth and profits made in order to appease the stockholders. In doing that, there are 4 basic rules of the financial world, because how do they make money, folks? They make money on your money. So the more of your money that they control, the more profit they can make. So does that match the rules? I want all your money in my control. I want more ongoing direct deposit your paycheck here directly into your account, because we get to work with the average daily balance. Look at your checking account statement when it comes, and there's a number on there. If you look at it, it says the average daily balance. Now, a checking account is an account where money goes in and out. So they're looking at your average daily balance. That's the amount of money that they can actually loan out to other people and start making money off of your money. I want to keep it forever. I want all of your money. I want more ongoing. I want to keep it forever. So if you think about that, the checking account balance for most people, that balance never goes away. There's a balance that stays there month in and month out. There is an average net balance. It's there a long time. What is the number one product that is promoted in the financial world that meets all 4 of their criteria? I want all your money, more ongoing. I want to keep it forever. And I want to give back as little as possible. Your 401k at work. Your 401k at work meets those 4 criteria exactly. Now let's step back a minute. Now, Tom, what are you talking about? That's a great thing, the 401k. Well, it is if you have an exit strategy. What's your exit strategy to avoid the income tax? Do you have a plan that will allow you to minimize or even avoid your income tax in that 401k when you take the money out? Or pay minimum tax on it. And I don't mean paying minimum tax because you're broke. I want to be in the highest tax bracket in the land in the future. That is my goal. I want to be in the highest tax bracket in the land. So the CFO Mastery is understanding these rules and how they apply to you. Because you're going to have to make decisions. There are 5 elements that you have to overcome when you're making decisions: risk, taxes, inflation, regulations, and depreciation of the dollar. Let me say it again: risk, taxes, regulation, inflation, and depreciation of the dollar. So every time you make a decision about saving money long-term for your future, you have to consider these 5 elements. Does the decision that you made, the thing that you're doing, the way you're saving your money, how you're accumulating your money, does it solve any of these 5 elements, or does it feed them? Okay? If it's feeding those 5 elements, you're going backwards. Now, the 401k, IRA, 403b, 457 plan, those are all plans instituted by the government in the tax code. Now, let me ask you a question here, serious question. Where do you think the idea for 401ks came from? Did it come from the government initiating it, or did it come from a lobbyist in Washington that represents the financial world to say, look, this would be good for the consumers, but it's also good for us because we get control of all the money. That's what it's about. So the idea for those plans didn't emanate from some politician. The politicians are puppets driven by the lobbyists that buy their support for a particular law or bill that benefits the lobbyist organization. And there are lots of lobby organizations. That's why Washington, D.C. is the richest non-state in the country. I don't know if you've been to Washington, D.C., but when you drive through Washington, D.C. or fly in over the city in an airplane, there is construction everywhere. It is the most growth city in the country because of all the money the lobbyists bring to town and all the support they bring for all the politicians that they cajole and wine and dine to get their support for the lobbyists' ideas. That's the truth, folks. This is really what it's all about. That's why it is so important for you to understand the rules. Now let's get on our side of the desk, the consumer side of the desk. And what are the 4 rules over here? The blueprint. Save 20% or more of your money. Accumulate 50% of your annual income in accessible cash. Number 3, no consumer debt. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to buy stuff. I understand that because things are going to happen, repair and maintenance. You need to replace the washing machine, on and on and on. What you've got to do, and we're talking about CFO Mastery now, you have to look at that and you have to buy something, pay cash out of your reserves, but then you have to replenish the money with a rate of return. So that's paying yourself back at interest. That's what it means. Because remember, let me digress a little bit. Long-term goal. Is the long-term goal to have some dollar amount as the goal for the future, which will change continuously. You will never hit it. If you set a dollar amount goal for the future, it is never going to happen. You're going to end up with something less than what you set as a goal because there are too many variables, assumptions to be made between now and then. And besides that, how would you ever know how much you're going to need when you get there? I mean, talk to some folks that just retired recently and ask them if it worked out exactly the way they planned. If they have all the money they need to last them throughout their life expectancy and maintain their lifestyle throughout their life expectancy, ask them if they made it. Oh, they'll have pride and they'll say, oh yeah, we're doing okay. That's the way they'll answer. We're doing okay. But deep down, I have yet to meet anybody that has met all of their expectations by having some kind of dollar amount goal in the future. That's why the CFO Mastery, the goal here is maximum efficiency from today forward so that I end up with the most I can have. Because, I'm looking at the US debt clock and the government and what they're doing and all of these things out there that are really going crazy, that take away my security and my certainty in most cases. So I don't know what the future is going to be. All I know is I want to be in the best position I can be in. That's what the Financial Mastery Coaching and the Blueprint, the CFO project teaches you. It teaches you how to be the CFO at home. It teaches you to develop in your own mind right thinking. And at the mastery level, you have to be sure of your thinking. Here's the real piece de resistance, if you would say it that way. You have to be sure and certain of your thinking. Because you know what? Tomorrow and the day after and the day after and the day after, the marketing and the news media and everything around you is out there to convince you that their thinking is better than your thinking. And that's truly what the mastery level is. I need people that have gotten PhDs, and maybe I need to refer to the CFO Mastery as the PhD. Because one thing I've learned in 44 years about meeting people that have a PhD, man, they are sure of that knowledge that they have. They wrote a paper on it. They validated it with their paper to become the PhD, to get that doctorate in their life. So let's think of the CFO project as the doctorate, because understanding and implementing every element of the CFO project truly makes you a PhD. And I don't mean piled higher and deeper. I mean the doctorate level of understanding this and how to truly create unbelievable, almost unlimited amounts of wealth in your future compared to what you were thinking before you listened to my conversation and my teachings. So it's there. It's there. We'll continue this tomorrow because we're 20 minutes out. And remember, this really is the culmination to the mastery level, the PhD, Certified Financial Officer at home. That's what the family money form is. And tomorrow, I'm going to put on the icing, and we're going to talk about the PhD level, and now the multiple generations of wealth and capturing human capital. See, human capital is what you have every day. As you get older, your human capital gets less and less and less. So you have to have money. You have to have capital to replace your human capital. Because when you're younger, in your 20s and 30s, you're working, your human capital account is large. So you're like a bond. Your human capital is large because you got all these years to work. As you get closer to retirement, your human capital collapses and goes away eventually. And so it's very insignificant when you're in retirement and you're no longer working and trading your time and ability for dollars. So we need to capture that money because that capital is what will sustain you throughout retirement with certainty and provide the dollars you're going to need with certainty throughout your life expectancy and allow you to maintain your lifestyle that you had when you retired and continue that lifestyle. Isn't that the goal, folks? Isn't that what we're really all looking for someday, to be free? Because that's what it is. It's about freedom. It's about being free, not being tethered to a job. I don't have a job, folks. I'm 70 years old. Sunday, I'll be 71. And you know what? I'm free because I choose to do this because I want to make a difference in your life. I want to make a difference in your future. I want to make a difference in your kids' future and your grandkids' future, because the long-term future the government has created does not look good. Does not look good at all. So we have to create our own security and our own certainty to protect it. That's all I got for today. We're way into it today. I enjoyed today. I hope you did. Get my book, The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project. You can buy it, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can contact me through Facebook. Send me an email at firedupt@comcast.net. That's firedupt@comcast.net. And we'll set it up. I'll send you an autographed copy. Use PayPal. I'll send you an invoice to pay for it online and get the book that way. You can also go to cfo-project.com, put in your name and email address, and you will access and get a link of a PDF and be able to download it onto your phone or your computer to be able to read it that way. Now, when you do that, I'm going to highly recommend that you invest an additional $47 to buy 4 books. Life Insurance, Will It Pay When I Die? Live Your Life Insurance, The Infinite Banking Concept, Part 1 by R. Nelson Nash, and Financial Freedom. Jumpstart Your Financial Freedom is the 4th one, plus a 1-hour video called The Secret to Wealth Creation. There is a secret. It has been well hidden, but I'm going to tell you, the banks and big corporations and rich people already know it. And you know what? If you heard it, you wouldn't believe it. So I'm here to help you discover it. I got nothing to sell you today, because even the $47 comes with a money-back guarantee. If you can tell me you read all 4 of the books, you watched the 1-hour video, and it wasn't worth $47, send me an email and a letter. I will refund your money. This is not about selling you something. It's about changing your future. I love you. God bless. Everything I do is for your future. Remember that. I'll see you tomorrow at noon, and we're going to put the icing on the cake and talk about PhD tomorrow, the CFO project. Bye-bye.